have nothing to do with this righteous man, for I suffered much today in a dream because of him. These words of the wife of Pontius Pilate usually get skipped over as we read the stories of the Passion of Jesus. It's just an asterisk, and surprisingly, it happens only in one of the 4 Gospels that are in the Bible. Matthew is the only one who mentions the wife of Pilate having intervened with her husband right before Pilate is ready to sentence Jesus to death. Have nothing to do with this righteous man, for I suffered much today in a dream because of him. Don't we wish Pilate listened to his wife? But the peer pressure, the political pressure, the religious pressure was too much. Getting rid of Jesus was such an easy solution to all the headaches that came to Pilate that week. It was a special week, the feast of Passover, which turned Jerusalem, usually a sleepy provincial town on the outskirts of the Roman Empire, into a hotbed of religious fanaticism, political struggle, and not much was needed for the situation to become explosive. So on one hand, Pilate is receiving a message from his wife. On the other hand, he is being expected by the emperor himself to keep things under control in the province of Judea. How we wish he listened to his wife. Matthew does not mention her name, but the ancient Christian tradition, especially the Orthodox Christian tradition, calls her Procla, P-R-O-K-L-A. In the Latin language, her name is Procula, P-R-O-C-U-L-A. As a matter of fact, most Eastern Christians, most members of the Orthodox churches know her as Saint Procla or Saint Procula. She is venerated in the East as the righteous and a saintly woman, at the very moment trying to save Jesus from impending death. If only Pilate had listened to her. Now, those of us who are blessed with holy spouses can learn a lesson from this asterisk in Matthew's Gospel. We often think we know better. We often think that there is so much pressure and context that our wife or husband cannot understand, that his or her voice has to be disregarded or ignored. How can she know what I'm going through? How can he understand this very complex and complicated situation? I wish it was that easy. Many of us say to ourselves, when our better half tells us what to do, "Honey, you can't know what is happening in my world. Thank you for advice, but you can't even stand to comprehend how complicated this situation is." And so we dismiss our spouse, boyfriend or girlfriend, or friend who offers us many times a valuable advice. If only Pilate listened to his wife. And now, many of us are listening to the advice of Dr. Fauci or other scientists who tell us what we should do and what we should avoid doing. And sometimes, not unlike Pilate, we say to ourselves, it is easy for them, the scientists, to give us a wise or smart advice, but my life down here is so much more complicated than that. And we, like Pilate, ignore the wise and good-hearted advice of those who know better. If only Pilate listened to his wife. You and I are not Pontius Pilate, but you and I are given friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. We are given Dr. Fauci, scientists, who from time to time speak with the voice of Saint Procula and tell us what we should and should not do. And the sin of pride in us is tempting to ignore such a holy and good advice of our better half and our scientists. If only Pilate listened to his wife. There is one church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, that in addition to Saint Procula, the wife of Pilate, canonized Pilate himself. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, there is Saint Pontius Pilate, for they believed that finally his wife did change his heart and mind. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, they believe that Pilate became a holy Christian man, that his wife found a way to change his mind and heart. My friend, even though you and I have ignored the good and wise advice given us by others, it is never too late to listen. If Pilate could become a saint, so can we all. Amen.